Welcome to this Q&A session. Today's questions are all mainly around menopause and stress and how the relationship of those two things interweaves together. So I've got some questions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read out the questions first because they're all along a similar kind of vein, and hopefully one of these questions will be something that you have on your mind as well. And then I'm going to go through talking around stress, and I'm going to talk about sleep, and I'm going to talk about the kinds of things that you can do, and hopefully something that I'm going to talk about today will resonate with you, and then you will be able to feel good, and you can take away something from this session. So let's start with the questions I've got. So I'm just going to read these questions out because I've written them down. So the first question that I had was, how do I get rid of my menopausal belly? That is a really big question, and that's a question that a lot of you have asked. So that's the first question. The second question is, what types of exercise should I do? I keep hearing that exercise increases stress, and then I've heard that higher stress makes things worse. I'm confused. Okay, so we'll come to that as well. The third question is, why am I hungry all the time? This is a really good question, and I'm gonna answer that as we go through this session. And the fourth question is, how can I exercise if I'm tired all the time? So you see, these questions all have a similar vein, they have a similar thread through them. So what I thought I would do is start by talking about stress, what stress is, and how that stress affects you through the perimenopause and the menopause. So stress, let's get that word out there. We all know that word. We all feel stress. We all have in times of our lives felt stressed. There are peak times where you feel incredibly stressed and overwhelmed and anxious for a prolonged period of time. And there are also times that you feel stressed just for a few minutes, just maybe even a few seconds. You get that kind of cold feeling that goes through your body, that real quick, I think I've lost my purse, I've lost my child minute, where it's just really, really quick, short and sharp, it's resolved really quickly, and you get that prolonged period of stress. So stress is the body's response. It's fight, flight, or freeze, and there are two hormones that are responsible for the stress, and that is cortisol and adrenaline, and the two work together to help you to get out of danger. Essentially, you can fight, it gives you superpowers, you can fight, you can run really fast, or you can just totally freeze and you just go rigid. Okay, so there's the different responses that's going to promote. Now, usually, I've just got the cat here, just put him down. Usually, pre-menopausal, pre-perimenopause, you have your estrogen and you have your progesterone, and those two hormones work really well at buffering the buildup of cortisol and adrenaline. So the two work together, they have like a protective effect. So they make sure that while you do have that body's natural fight, flight, freeze, that natural sort of life-saving effect, the progesterone and the estrogen really help to just control it. Your body stays in balance. Now, as your body changes and you're going through perimenopause into menopause, the amount of progesterone and estrogen that you are producing dramatically lowers, and it also spikes around a lot. So it increases, decreases, and it's different for everybody. So you may feel more stressed, less stressed, and it can be quite unpredictable. So stress, the way that stress affects your body. So it can increase your cravings. It can increase cravings of high fat and high sugar foods, which you've probably felt as you're going through your day-to-day life. It can really disrupt your sleep. You have difficulty in sleeping because you've got, again, that fight, flight, freeze that is going around your body, and that is tiring to deal with on a constant day-to-day basis. Your digestion can be disrupted, and that can be anything from foods that you used to be able to eat may just not feel quite right into your tummy, from constipation, diarrhea, a bit of like IBS type symptoms. They can really flare up with too much stress going through your body. Your willpower will be lower because again, all you want to do is self-preservation. There's fight, flight, freeze response of the cortisol and the adrenaline building up into your system. You don't have the willpower to do the things that you know you should do, which is why adding routine into your life as soon as you possibly can, as you come into that perimenopause or before, is really going to help you out, because it becomes less of a willpower struggle and more of a thing that you just do generally. So it's really disruptive for your routine, and it can make recovery difficult. So recovery between bouts of exercising, recovery during exercise, it can make that difficult as well, because again, your body's working really, really hard all the time to manage that fight, flight, freeze response. So that's the bit about stress and what it can do. So nudging into sleep now, because a couple of the questions that we had were all about stress and sleep. So sleep, if you don't get enough sleep, that can actually add to your sort of brain fog that you may be experiencing. Stress and sleep go hand in hand. Stress really disrupts sleep, and if you don't have sleep, then it exacerbates some of the other issues. So the brain fog, you get lowered immunity as well if you don't have enough sleep. Sleep is the time for repair and regrowth and building. And if you're not having a good quality of sleep, then it really can make a huge difference to your immunity. You may find that you're getting sicker more often, that you just maybe not able to fight off a cold or as much as you wanted to be able to, as much as you could before. Things hurt that they didn't hurt before, and your body's just really not recovering as quickly as it used to do. Without enough sleep, your hunger increases because your body needs more energy to be able to keep going. That paired with the stress factors that we were just talking about increasing additional calories, that your body wants additional calories, it wants additional fat. Those two really can be such a dangerous mix. And your desire to do exercise or activity reduces. So if you're taking on more calories, you're reducing, and they're not good quality calories, you're reducing the amount of exercise that you're doing, your metabolism is going to start to slow down as well. So a lot of the work that I do is talking about helping you to increase your metabolism through building muscle, so that over time you've got a good calorie burning effect. And if you're not able to do that, your metabolism is going to slow down, which means that the amount of calories you're going to burn over time is going to be less. So you see now where stress and sleep go hand in hand, they can be your own worst enemy. So thinking about stress, we will loop back round to the questions that we asked right at the beginning to answer those, but all of this information here is hopefully going to be able to help you, and hopefully will just give you a bit more of an insight as to what on earth your body is doing. So things that may be stressing you out that you may not even know, there are kind of passive stressors and there are active stressors that I like to call them. You've got your active stressors, things like work, things like relationships, things like your to-do list, things that are that are on top of you all the time. And then you've got your passive stressors, things that you don't even know that are stressing you. Things like you may be eating too much processed food, too many inflammatory foods, things that are actually stressing your bodily systems that you don't even know, that you're not even aware of. They are those kind of internal processes that you're not even aware of, things that we wouldn't consider stress because we use the word in a different way. So work, overthinking situations, financial problems, financial situations, the global economy. I mean, it's everywhere at the minute as I'm recording this session. The pandemic, I mean, that's been going on for coming up for 3 years now, and that is really still highly stressful for a lot of people. Too much caffeine, that can be a real stressor. So there are little things that you can do there. Switching to herbal teas or going decaf is really going to help. Too much alcohol into your system as well. That is a stressor that adds into your body's system. It affects your stress levels. Not getting enough rest, as we just talked about with sleep, but not just sleep, just rest, just sitting and resting. Social media can be a huge overbearing stressor. So looking at what you're scrolling at giving yourself a timer, stopping that scroll. Don't fall down that scroll hole. We all do it. If you want to fall down the scroll hole, feel free, but if it's happening by accident, then know when to call it time. These are all things that can be adding to your stress. So hopefully by watching this, you're able to sort of say yes or no to some of those things. There are some things like work that you may or may not be able to do something about, but there are some things that you can do something about. And hopefully at work, there are some things that you can do things about. Employers should be understanding. Employers do have a duty of care for you. So really, please do make sure that you ask for help if you are working in a situation where you can do that. So other things that you can help, you can set boundaries. Setting boundaries is really important. Things that are non-negotiable, you know, people are running away with your time. It's your time and your time only. Setting your own boundaries and being strong about those from the outset. Meal planning. So already thinking about what you're going to be having for the week. You don't have to plan every single meal to the nth degree, but knowing you have enough food in the house, knowing what you're having on certain days, making sure that that's available. Is it in the fridge? Is it in the freezer? What can you prep ahead? Asking for help, as I just said, but not just in a work capacity, in any realm of your life. Do you need someone to watch the kids so that you can just take half an hour? Do you need some help with brainstorming some ideas? Do you need help with, you know, finding somebody to help you out with the garden, or, you know, something like that? What can you do? Who can you ask for help? Outsourcing some of that work. So again, with the gardening or with the cleaning or with the childcare or something like that, can you maybe do a skill swap if finances are difficult? There are loads of people out there who are always happy to help each other out. So skill swap's a really good way of doing that. Talking to people. I always find this is the most cleansing way to do it. Talking to somebody, so just taking 5 minutes and just sharing, it really is caring. And you know, they say that a problem shared is a problem halved, and it really does help when somebody seems to understand what it is you're going through, and just talking it out is sometimes all that you need. And removing those toxic stressors. So if you have those people in your life, those drama-centric people in your life, if you can hold them at arm's distance, if you can just lessen the impact of their stress on you, then that is really going to help you out. So those are all little things that you can do to help. But there are some other things that you can do to actively help. Now, you know that I'm going to say exercise is going to be one of those things. And we're going to cycle back around to one of those questions, which was, what types of exercise can I do? I've got my question here. What types of exercise can I do? I keep hearing exercise increases stress, which makes things worse. I'm confused. Okay. So hopefully now, talking about that stress and that sleep cycle and the things that stress you and the things that don't, we can answer this question a little bit more now. So exercise can stress the body. Exercise does stress the body, but there's two different ways that we can think about this. If you're doing really intense exercise and you're doing it for a long period of time, that will add additional stress onto your body if you're not used to it. And just that prolonged amount of stress and strain on the body will add stress to the body, but it's in a positive kind of way. Okay, so if you are working towards something, if you're building up towards something, maybe you're running a half marathon or a marathon, and your training plan says that you need to go out for 2 or 3 hour runs, and you're not really in a place to do that, and the stress is too much, then maybe it's time to think that that's not something that you should be doing at this point in time now. You can get amazing benefits by doing exercise that is not as stressful on your system. Doing weights, a lot of my weighted workouts are really good for that. Women have a higher tolerance as we get older of these kind of weight sessions where we're not doing loads of cardio, but we are still raising the heart rate. We're still using the body in the way that it's supposed to be used, that functional fitness. So doing weighted workouts, and that also seems to really help with you not getting overly hot and sweaty, which exacerbates the hot flushes. So that's really going to help you out. Like I said, those real endurance, that long, intense exercise that can be stressful on the body, but doing exercise and just doing a variety of different exercises. So doing your weights, doing your, I can't even think of the word. I'm having some brain fog. Doing your weights, doing your yoga or Pilates, doing your walking, being out with people, being in nature, going for a jog, doing whatever it is that you need to do. It's different for everybody. If you're used to running half marathons or marathons, then the likelihood is that's not going to stress your body in the same way that if you're just going to start doing that now. So it really is very individual. So hopefully that answers the question that yes, adding any strain into the body is going to increase stress, whether it's for a short period of time or for a long period of time. You have to see how that works with you. But generally, don't not exercise because you've heard that it's stressful on the body. Okay, if it's a short, sharp, quick little stress, then that's okay. It increases the cortisol and the adrenaline, and then it dissipates, and the benefits are untold. There are so many. Okay, so now we've answered that question. I'm just going to whip back around, and the other things that you can help with your stress are things like mindfulness and journaling and taking a warm bath and positive affirmations. I've got some of those on my channel as well, so do have a look at those. Just ways to get your head in the right space. So things that you can say to yourself, you start to say it, you start to believe it, you start to achieve it. You hear a lot about positive mantras, about, you know, really getting out there and believing in what you're trying to achieve. And that really can help a lot of people if you get yourself in that positive mindset. So let's go back to the other questions that we asked right at the beginning, and then hopefully we can answer those as well. So the first question was, how do I get rid of my menopausal belly? So we did talk about how stress can add into, it can give you bloating and digestive issues. So that's the first thing I would look at, is clean up your diet and see if there's something in your diet that is causing bloating. There may be something that you're not able to digest that you could before. The usual things are gluten, lactose, all of those kinds of things. Just give it a little try, give some little tweaks and see what's going on. But reducing your stress is really going to help. Making sure you're actually eating is also really important. So going for a prolonged period of time without eating is not helpful. So really do make sure that you are eating so that your body has got a constant flow of energy. That's going to be really, really important. And sleep and exercise. So they're the things that are really going to help you to control the stress that is going to help to reduce that menopausal tummy. Exercise, whole body exercise will help with that. Targeted exercise, toning exercise will help with that as well. So just really moving your body positively, reducing that stress, cleaning up your diet, and sleep are all going to help with that menopausal belly. Why am I hungry all the time? Hopefully this was answered. Stress, anxiety, overthinking, overwhelm will keep you in that perpetual state of trying to stay alive, trying to stay vigilant, trying to escape danger at all costs. You need energy to do that. You need to be super aware. So removing the stresses, trying to chill out a little bit, that is going to help you to just bring down from high alert, just come down a little bit. Hopefully getting that routine in place, setting those boundaries, that's going to help you. The meal planning, the meal prepping, reducing some of that sugar is just going to help you to stop craving it as well. So that's going to be really important. And the final question was, how can I exercise if I'm tired all the time? So again, at the risk of sounding like I'm saying the same thing over and over again, reducing the stress, increasing the sleep, which is again a lot easier said than done. That should really help you out. Working into a routine, so starting just 10 minutes every other day, 10 minutes once a week, 10 minutes twice a week, 10 minutes 3 times a week, just working into it, adding into your routine, your tolerance of exercise will increase. You'll be able to do far more. And you'll just find that you will be able to manage that exercise, and you won't be so tired. You'll just be able to continue on with it as you're going along. So hopefully those questions have been answered. There were 4 really excellent questions. Thank you so much to everybody who asked those. If you have more questions, drop them in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them either in the comments or on the next Q&A as we're going through. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you at the next one.